Hello, world. It's Kai. This is the kind of vlog we're gonna have today because I was really avoiding doing this. I could tell, but it's about how I hold myself back and the subconscious beliefs that I'm currently deconstructing. So, especially with how I've been raised and what I told myself as a child, how I conditioned myself to believe certain things. One of the things that came up was holding myself back. And it was an interesting line of understanding the ways that I am has attracted a lot of attention, and it kept appearances up. Due to that, I got stuck in a cycle of constantly trying to prove a point, proving my worth, my usefulness, my proactivity, my presence, and honestly, even just maintaining appearances, which would be having accomplishments, doing things all the time, showing up, having progress. Performing. And when it comes to thinking about how I've applied myself now and how I continue to implicitly endue myself with these entrapments. I've definitely allowed myself to change certain parts of my self-concept in order to no longer categorize certain parts of myself as bad or even good necessarily. It just feels positive versus feeling negative. And I'm processing how I experience love, how I have continued to express love, and how I also quickly get caught up in my own trap. And I am not going to diminish or put myself into a demise just so that I can honestly rebuild myself, because I tend to do that, where I put so many things to death when in reality it's just soil that's not being decomposed properly. So it's not nourishing to the point of fulfillment. Because as long as I'm continuing to move within my desires and holding myself accountable while also having faith and trust, it is really important, because it's going to no longer debilitate myself. I'm sharing this due to the constant reflections in reality that have been presenting themselves to me. It's okay. And yeah, the fear of the unknown. It is constantly unfolding, so we do have fears all the time. All the time, they're there. They think that they're protecting you to the best of their abilities and doing the best in terms of who you are now, determining all these things as if that would be deemed so. The same decision would be right, the same direction, when that unknown is presenting an opportunity for a different choice. So that is currently what I'm constantly processing, is certain aspects I know what I want, and I know what I need to do in order to get to what I want. Other parts where I'm just like, oh, didn't realize how much I was playing into this poisonous part of myself. And poisonous in meaning the subconscious beliefs are leaking into the actions and presentation of the past as if it's currently still present, therefore completely skewing the perspective entirely, inflating it, making it extremely dramatized within that point. And so, not thinking well of myself when I know that I was present in that moment. I know it. I know that I tried my best and I kept my intentions pure, and that is what continued to push me in that direction. But yes, now that I'm reflecting on it, I'm realizing how much I was propelling in a direction that wasn't internal, that wasn't coming from this self and the pure essence of giving it to myself first, experiencing it with myself first as this person, and then living it out. It's not about the process. It's not about, for me, it's understanding the progress, being proud of myself, but the processing doesn't always need to be presented in the physical reality. The physical dimension doesn't always need to reflect that. It doesn't always need to, because it always will if it is completely dwelling within the self. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm currently reading more, yippee, doing a lot more journaling, finally cleaned my room and put my clothes away in a very interesting manner. It's fine. It's fine because I don't know when I'm gonna leave this place. I do feel it. It's coming. But like, I don't even know if I really want to go to school. I think I just want to be in Idaho. Oh, Paula's so cute. My dog. But yeah. Damn, man. The amount of attention that I give myself and the things that I have to discern because of my dysregulation, because of my trauma, because of my conditioning, because of my subconscious beliefs that have told me that I'm not good enough. They believe that. They have been conditioned and programmed to believe that. Unfortunately. I always talk about it because that's my person. Is I found myself consistently playing a part in competing and presenting and performing and projecting. And then I tried to dismantle those parts of myself so that I wouldn't do that, because I find those parts of myself disgusting. I've been dealing with a lot of anger, disappointment, bitterness, judgment, a lot of judgment, so shame, and it has taught me that I'm still trying to play a part. I'm still trying to play a part that I am not. I'm trying to play this character when in reality it's really not me. It's just what I'm feeling as a clair-sensing person, an empath, a psychic, and it's obvious. It's so obvious that I created from a core part of myself, and I felt embarrassed and shameful of how I expressed that part of myself. So therefore, now that it has passed, I am consistently judging it because I think subconsciously my programming is to believe that it is wrong, and that it is shameful, and that it shouldn't have happened, but in reality it did. So it's also not accepting the past for what it was. And therefore I'm like, it is a really pure part of myself. Why would I try to destroy that? Why would I try to crush it down into little fucking pieces just so that I can look at them even more detailed, when I can just leave it alone and still perceive it? I just need to leave it the fuck alone. Like, one thing that I realized was there is a part of myself that I have been excluding and yet including so inclusively, where it's like excluding the parts of myself that I actually have importance and proactivity with in this present moment. Like, I'm not just that part. I'm not just one part, one definition, one experience. I'm a person in every single moment. So to be present in a new moment and allow that person to be presented, it is important to let go of the past, because why are we living in the past when the person is right there? They're still here, and there's something being implemented just by being alive. And if that presence is allowed, that awareness, that consciousness, that new reprogrammed subconscious thinking, then how are we not able to see clearly? There's something so deep within the cloud, within the the phasing of the haze. Like, it is so important to clear ourselves and be awake and be aware so that we can see people clearly. That's how I feel. I'm literally like, okay, I've experienced such and such with a person, but it's not something that I want to cloud my judgment with just because I've experienced something positive or negative. It's positive or negative. Those both can equally cloud judgment because of past experiences and what we perceived. So yeah, it is important in order to determine whether you even want this person in your life. But in reality, we always feel it. We always feel what the best choice for us is going to be. We feel it. We don't need to think about it, but we feel it. But we always try to intellectualize, and we always try to make it make sense and try to have a program or a plan in order for us to be like present with this person, when building that in itself is so contradicting. It's so counterintuitive. Like, and I feel that way. I feel that way so much, where I literally be like, okay, when this person comes into my presence, I will be acting completely normal. I will be at peace. And then it happens right when it like wasn't a time where I would have been prepared. That is such a clear like example of how making a plan is not something that is implemented. It is something that is presented to yourself all the time. If you allow yourself that presence to be within that space, then that will come out naturally. So that is why, yes, I am kind of frustrated with myself, because I'm like, I have allowed this peace within myself. I have allowed this presence within my space. And yes, it was a very, very prevalent time of dysregulation and like honestly PTSD from being attacked. And it's just like, why am I being so hard on myself? Why am I actually trying to put myself down? For what? Just because this person doesn't feel the same way? That is literally impossible. It is impossible to feel the same way all the time. And I mean this in the all entirety of that feeling. How could they ever understand? Especially if there's no conversation and there's no, proactivity. There's no reciprocity. There's no giving and receiving. Like, I literally don't make sense to myself sometimes, where I'm just like, why do I believe this? Why do I do this? Why do I tell myself these things? That's why I'm like, damn, should I fucking post this? Because Jesus Christ, like, I'm just as frustrated with myself that I am with the universe. And I mean this in terms of the physical dimension, where we cannot literally stand in our power even when the past is gone. It is gone. It is the past. The past doesn't fucking exist. We just continuously perpetuate that. And it's just, God, I do that to myself. I'm like, damn, why? Do you really think you're that pitiful? Like, do you really have that much shame for who you were? Are you really that embarrassed? And I'm like, no, I'm not. Because that was a pure emotion, and I was experiencing it to the best of my abilities and capacities, and that is what it was, and that is it. And I do not need to continuously cycle through these experiences from the past over and over again in my mind just to perceive something that is not aligned. It's just different. It's not aligned. So why am I trying to bring it to my attention? Like, anyways, I could keep going. I'm just, yeah, man, like, I'm gonna be going to my friend's celebration of life, and I have been finally feeling a lot better, finally feeling a better place than I have been before, where I can actually be proactive to a certain extent. I'm still very sore, but day by day, I wish you the best on your own journey within this fucking 3D, because god damn it, we as people deserve to present ourselves to ourselves. So, peace out.